And there we go. All right. So, welcome. Share this thing right here. I don't have it down where I can just share it. Give me just a second. All right. So, happy Sabbath, everybody. I'm Lee. Welcome. See, a Bible study. This is a Bible study for believers. And I like to do these. Messiah read. It was his custom to read. It was Paul's custom to reason with people out of the scriptures. So I read and I don't prepare ahead of time. And if y'all gives me something to share, I share it as I go. If I think of something, I share it, so. But I kind of do these on the fly for just a scripture reading, sacred writing reading, however you want to put it. So happy Sabbath, everybody. And yeah. So if I get anything right and hope it's a blessing to you, praise Yah. If I get anything wrong, that's on me. That's my fault. So we're at Jeremiah 42. Then all the commanders of the forces and Yohanan, son of Kareah, and Yezaniah, son of Hoshaiah, and all the people from the least to the greatest approached the prophet Jeremiah, and said, "Be good enough to listen to our plea and pray to Yahuwah your God for us, for all this remnant. For there are only a few of us left out of many, as your eyes can see. Let Yahuwah your God show us where we should go and what we should do." The prophet Jeremiah said to them, "Very well, I'm going to pray to Yahuwah your God as you request, and whatever Yahuwah answers you, I will tell you. I will keep nothing back from you." They in their turn said to Jeremiah, "May Yahuwah be true and faithful witness against us if we do not act according to everything that Yahuwah your God sends us through you. Whether it be good or bad, we will obey the voice of Yahuwah our God, to whom we are sending you, in order that it may go well with us when we obey the voice of Yahuwah our God." Happy Sabbath, trust Yah. And happy Sabbath, Rachel. Checking into class. Yeah, my children say sometimes we do Bible study on the Sabbath, and they're like, "This is worse than school. You don't quit reading." So 7. Yeah, if you don't like to read the scriptures, this is probably not the place for you. So, but yeah, welcome everybody. Study. After 10 days, Yahuwah's word came to Jeremiah. Then he called Yohanan, the son of Kareah, and this is from Jeremiah, from the Dead Sea Scrolls, Cave 2. I'm going to put this in here right quick too. For anybody that doesn't know, it's not perfect. There's some things that I think are errors in it, but as a whole, it's good to get your head around some of these concepts. It will help you in your walk, I believe. So, this is Beth Bar book, just came out from the God Culture. And yeah, I don't agree with some of their findings, but a lot of them I do. So I recommend it. I will put that. Don't buy today. It's the Sabbath. So I'm going to put that in the chat in case anybody wants to look at it. I like to share resources too. It's not just me here. There's other resources that can help you. So, yeah. You can see my You can see my account. Oops. Yeah, I bought it. I'm halfway through it. All right. So then he called Yohanan, the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces who were with him, and all the people from the least even to the greatest, and said to them, Yahuwah, the God of Yisrael, to whom you sent me to present your supplication before him, says, if you will still live in this land, then I will build you and not pull you down, and I will plant you and not pluck you up, for I grieve over the distress that I have brought on you. Wow. So he grieved over the distress that he brought. Wow. Keeps giving us chance after chance after chance. Shalomi, Luke. Torah 144K. Beth Barg book is good. Yes. So Yah grieved over us. Wow. Dope. And one other thing right quick. I was reading in Numbers earlier. Get in here. So Numbers. I love the Sabbath. Who loves the Sabbath? This is 23. Listen to Balaam here. And Balaam said to him, Balak, and Balak, stand by your burnt offering. I will go. Peradventure, Yahuwah will come to meet me. Interesting. Whatsoever he shows me, I will tell thee. And he went again to a high place. And God met Balaam. Pretty cool, huh? Yep. All right. Get back here. Got to mess with some people. Don't be afraid of the king of Babylon, of whom you're afraid. Don't be afraid of him, says Yahuwah, for I am with you to save you and to deliver you from his hand. That's pretty cool. Balaam was a false prophet, but even he had God meet him. I never had God meet me in person. That's pretty cool. So do not be afraid of him, king of Babylon. I will grant you mercy, and he will have mercy on you and restore you to your native soul. So God grants mercy, then the king grants mercy. If God doesn't grant you mercy, then you don't get mercy. 13, but if you continue to say, we will not stay in this land, thus disobeying the voice of Yahuwah your God. 14, saying, no, but we will go into the land of Egypt, where we will see no war, nor hear the sound of the trumpet, nor have hunger of bread, and there will we dwell. So they wanted a peaceful land, plenty of food. They didn't want to listen to God. So 14. Then hear the word of Yahuwah, O remnant of Yehudah, because the northern kingdom's already gone. Thus says Yahuwah of hosts, the God of Israel, if you are determined to enter Egypt and go to settle there, then the sword that you fear shall overtake you there in the land of Egypt, and the famine that you dread shall follow close after you into Egypt, and there you shall die. All the people who have determined to go to Egypt to settle there shall die by the sword, by famine, and by pestilence. They shall have no remnant or survivor from the disaster that I am bringing upon them. Ouch. For thus says Yahuwah of hosts, the God of Israel, just as my anger and my wrath were poured out on the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so my wrath will be poured out when you go to Egypt. You shall become an object of execration and horror, of cursing and ridicule. You shall see this place no more. Not very nice, right? It's a holy God. Sometimes it's not nice. Yahuwah has said to you, O remnant of Yehudah, do not go to Egypt. Be well aware that I have warned you today. He warned. They didn't listen. That you have made a fatal mistake, for you yourselves sent me to Yahuwah your God, saying, pray for us to Yahuwah our God, and whatever Yahuwah our God says, tell us, and we will do it. So I have told you today, but you have not obeyed the voice of Yahuwah your God in anything that he sent me to tell you. Be well aware then that you shall die by the sword, by famine, and by pestilence in the place where you desire to go and settle. And that's Jeremiah saying that. Yahuwah our God says. I think, no, that's the people. Yahuwah our God said, tell us and we will do it. So I have told you. Hopefully there's more of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yes. Good. Back in the scrolls. So we're missing verse 1. Yep. Jeremiah's kind of all over the place. So 43, when Jeremiah finished speaking to all the people, all the words Yahuwah their God, with which Yahuwah their God had sent him to them, all these words. Then Azariah the son of Hoshaiah, Yohanan the son of Kareah, and all the proud men spoke, saying to Jeremiah, you speak falsely. And this is the way God does it. He rarely meets with people. He does meet with people. He met with Balaam. He met with Moses, But a lot of times he'll send the prophet to tell people. And he doesn't change, right? You got to look at patterns. Not just, this is what I think the New Testament means. Or God changed this, this is what it says now. Malachi 3:6, for I am Yahuwah, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Well, this is talking about saving Israel, right? But in general, he stays the same. He's not like men. Where's that at? That's in there too. I think I read that in Numbers today. So, where's that at? Or Leviticus. I read it somewhere today. There you go. Numbers 23. So God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent or change his mind, right? He's not like us. I don't know why we always have to make God like us. He's not like us. We're like him in image, and we're supposed to be a character, but he's not like us. God is not a man that he should lie, or immortal that he should change his mind. He has promised, and will he not do it? He has spoken, and will he not fulfill it? So we can look at patterns of how he operates in the older scriptures and see what he's going to do to come. He even tells us what he's going to do too. Saying to Jeremiah, you speak falsely. Yahuwah our God has not sent you to say, you shall not go into Egypt to live there, but Baruch has turned you against us to deliver us into the hand of the Chaldeans, that they may put us to death and carry us away captive to Babylon. So the same thing's going to happen again. And this does not, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, it doesn't say the son of Neriah. That was added. So Yohanan and all the captains of the forces and all the people didn't obey Yahuwah's voice to dwell in the land of Yehuda. So they said they would obey, and then Jeremiah tells them, and nope, we're not going to do it. But Yohanan and all the captains of the forces took all the remnant of Yehuda who had returned from all the nations where they had been driven. That's interesting. From the nations. So it doesn't say to live in the land of Judah. The men, the women, the children, and the king's daughters, and every person who Nebuzaradan had left with Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam. So it doesn't say captain of the guard. It doesn't say the son of Shaphan. A lot of added stuff to Jeremiah there in our modern translations. So we can see, this is a modern Bible. Added. That wasn't supposed to be there. Added. Not supposed to be there. Not supposed to be there. Yep. To live in the land of Judah, verse 5. So, to live in the land of Judah, not supposed to be there. They added. Modern translations, they should take the Dead Sea Scrolls and fix our modern translations, but they don't. Sometimes they do, but very rarely. had left with Gedaliah the son of Ahikam and Jeremiah the prophet and Baruch the son of Neriah, and they came into the land of Egypt, for they didn't obey Yahuwah's voice, and they came to Taphanes. Same thing the Dead Sea Scrolls says. So we go there. So all right. Go to search. Taphanes. Probably not going to pull it up. Copy. Tapanis. Yeah, that's not going to pull up. So we went over this a week or two ago. Is it going to load? Boy, that's slow. Oh, the Gospel Worth Dying For calendar came out too for the new year. And it looks like they didn't mess it up. So last year's was right. And then it looks like they didn't mess this year's up. So that's good. So it's Gospel Worth Dying For. And they added some stuff to it too. Pretty cool. So you can look at the new calendar. The most accurate calendar that I've come across. Thank you, Jared and Mick. So well, it's not coming up. Probably spelled differently here. All right, let's go through here right quick. So Jeremiah. There we go. And Taphanes, which is in the land of Egypt, they said to him, "Inquire of God for us." But Jeremiah did not listen to them, did not inquire of them God. Jubilation, prayer. Yep. So the Apocryphon of Jeremiah has the same thing found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Then Yahuwah's word came to Jeremiah and Taphanes, saying, "Take great stones in your hand and hide them in mortar in the brickwork of Pharaoh's house." Is at the entry into at the entry, so probably is added. It wasn't in Hebrew, which is at the entry, so of Pharaoh's house, in Taphanes, so of Pharaoh's house got moved, in the sight of the men of Yehuda, and tell them, Yahuwah of armies, the God of Israel, says, "Behold, I will send and take Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will set his throne on these stones that I have hidden, and he will spread his royal pavilion over them." So that's Yah, that's God in heaven. He's still in charge of another king, right? Or the same king, Nebuchadnezzar. 10. Is that 10? 10. Yep. He will come and will strike the land of Egypt. Such as are for death will be put to death. Such as are for captivity to captivity, and such as are for the sword to the sword. I shall kindle fire in the temples of the gods of Egypt. He shall burn them and carry them away captive. He shall pick clean the land of Egypt as a shepherd picks his cloak clean of vermin, and he shall depart from there safely. He shall break the obelisk of Heliopolis, which is in the land of Egypt, and the temples of the gods of Egypt he shall burn with fire. So God, Yah, our Father in heaven, executed judgment on Egypt through Nebuchadnezzar also. And you see these little, so Heliopolis is the city of the sun, Sunday worship, obelisk, right? Obelisk. We don't have Egypt anymore, do we? See that Washington Monument right there? The whole world's Egypt now. America. Egypt. That's like a big middle finger sticking up to God right there. Let's see. Also got, was it London? Call that. They got that. I know the Vatican's got one. What do they call that? Whole world's Rome and Egypt. Oh, look at that. They got one too. All around the world. So Nebuchadnezzar destroyed their obelisk in the city of the sun. And he destroyed the temples of the gods of Egypt. Or he shall break. So a future. Yeah. 44. Jeremiah 44, cave 2. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the Yehudim. Jews. It's not Jews. That's annoying. And go over here in case somebody don't know. So let's see over here, Jews. The Jews, Yehudi, or Yahudi, right? Named after Yah, right? That doesn't say Jew. Translated Jew, wrong. Yehudi, Yahudim, his people. All right, so that whoever translated the Dead Sea Scrolls here is sticking in a word that doesn't go there. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all who lived in the land of Egypt, Mitzrayim, who lived at Migdol and at Tapanhes and at Memphis. Interesting. What we got over here in America. Got all kind of stuff here. Memphis, Tennessee. We got a Memphis over here. Huh. Oh, check that out. They got a pyramid in Memphis. Interesting. That's just a coincidence. That has nothing to do with Egypt or Rome or any of that stuff, right? Just a coincidence. They put a pillar over there. Try to zoom in. You can see it. There you go. Big old pyramid. All right. And in the country of Pathros, saying, Yahuwah of armies, the Elohim of Israel, so God of Israel, says, you have seen all the evil that I brought on Jerusalem and on all the cities of Yehuda. Behold, today they are a desolation. Added is no man dwells in them. So somebody added that. No man dwells in them because of their wickedness, which they have committed to provoke me to anger, and that they went to burn incense to serve other gods that they didn't know, neither they nor you nor your fathers. 3. Missing some. Oh, it sucks. Let's see. Yet I persistently sent to you all my servants the prophets, saying, I beg you not to do this abominable thing that I hate. But they did not listen or incline their ear to turn from their wickedness and make no offerings to other gods. So they did offerings to other gods. So my wrath and my anger were poured out and kindled in the towns of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem. And they became a waste and a desolation as they still are today. And now thus says Yahuwah, Elohim of hosts, the Elohim of Yisrael. What are you doing such great harm to yourselves? Why are you doing such great harm to yourselves to cut off man, woman, child, and infant from the midst of Yehuda, leaving yourselves without a remnant? Why do you provoke me to anger with the works of your hands? So your idols, Hebrew idiom, making offerings to other gods in the land of Egypt, where you have come to settle. will you be cut off and become an object of cursing and ridicule among all the nations of the earth? Have you forgotten the crimes of your ancestors or fathers, of the kings of Yehuda, of their wives, your own crimes, and those of your wives, which they committed in the land of Yehuda, in the streets of Jerusalem? They have shown no contrition or fear to this day, nor have they walked in my law and my statutes that I set before you and before your ancestors. He didn't make such a big fuss of it back then to make like it's nothing now. It makes no sense. He's the same God. He's not a different God. Unless you have Marcion and then he separated the New Testament from the Old Testament. Here's a new God in the New Testament. You believe there's a new God in the New Testament, and then you're following Marcion. You're not following Scripture. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah of hosts, the God of Israel, I am determined to bring disaster on you, to bring all Yehuda to an end. And also to back that up too, he said, I give you good doctrine. He give you good law. Why would he come back later and say, oh, no, that law, that wasn't that good, so I got to give you something different? Proverbs 4:2, I give you good doctrine, forsake you not my law. Oh, Rachel says Las Vegas has a pyramid too. Interesting. Thank you for sharing, Rachel. That is, it's all over the world. I don't know where everything's at, but I didn't even know it was in Memphis till I couldn't remember till I pulled that up and it showed the picture. So he gives us good doctrine, forsake you not his law, right? Therefore, thus says Yahuwah of hosts, God of Israel, right? He's going to bring disaster on you and bring Judah to an end because you broke his law. But then he said, okay, this New Testament, my son came, it's all good. I'm not going to bring disaster on you because, you're different. Or it's different because my son, makes no sense. I will take the remnant of Yehuda that have set their faces to go into the land of Egypt to live there, and they will all be consumed. They will fall in the land of Egypt. They will be consumed by the sword, by the famine. They will die from the least even to the greatest, by the sword, by the famine. They will be an object of horror and astonishment and a curse and a reproach. For I will punish those who dwell in the land of Egypt, as I have punished Jerusalem, by sword, by famine, by pestilence, so that none of the remnant of Yehuda who have gone into the land of Egypt to live there will escape or be left to return in the land of Yehuda, to which they have a desire to return to dwell there, for no one will return except those who will escape. So that is 14. That's 2Q13 Jeremiah. So cave 2. 14. So except some, very few. Then all the men who are aware that their wives have been making offerings to other gods, all the women who stood by a great assembly, all the people who lived in Pathros in the land of Egypt, answered Yirmiyahu. So all the men who are aware, they knew. As for the word that you have spoken to us in the name of Yahuwah, we are not going to listen to you. Instead, we will do everything that we have vowed, make offerings to the Queen of Heaven, and pour out libations to her, just as we and our ancestors, our kings and our officials used to do in the towns of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem. Dang. We used to have plenty of food and prospered and saw no misfortune. Crazy. So, Queen of Heaven here. Highlight it. Okay. I'll save that. So, Queen of Heaven. Sometimes it's hard to make connections because we just have the Greek New Testament. We don't have the original writings. I guarantee you things would be a lot more clear if we did. So Acts 19:34, but when they knew that he was a Yahudim, they're not that word Jew, all with one voice, about the space of 2 hours, cried out, "Great is Diana of the Ephesians." Wow. Gets even better. Where's that other part at? And when the town clerk had appeased the people, he said, "You men of Ephesus, what man is there that knoweth not how that the city of the Ephesians is a worshipper of the great goddess Diana, and of the image which fell down from Jupiter? Seeing then that these things cannot be spoken against, you ought to be quiet and do nothing rashly. For you have brought hither these men, which are neither robbers of churches, nor yet blasphemers of your goddess." Uh, so that's 30. I know it says in there, which the whole world worships. 39. Pretty sure this is it. Let's see. Where's that at? Yep. All right. Let's see. Stand by. Let me see if I can find it. It's been a while since I looked this up. So, pretty sure it's in Acts. Come on now. Let's see. Maybe I already read it. Dang. Sorry. Okay. So Acts 19:27. Zoom back out. So that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worships. Interesting. There's a peg. Queen of Heaven. So, but from the time we stopped making offerings to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out libations to her, we have lacked everything and have perished by the sword and by famine. And the women said, "Indeed, we will go on making offerings to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out libations to her. Do you think that we made cakes for her, marked with her image, and poured out libations to her without her husbands being involved?" Then Jeremiah said to all the people, men and women, all the people who were giving him this answer, "As for the offerings that you made in the towns of Yehuda and the streets of Jerusalem, you and your ancestors, your kings and your officials, and the people of the land, did not Yahuwah remember them? Did it not come into his mind? Yahuwah could no longer bear the sight of your evil doings, the abominations that you committed. Therefore, your land became a desolation and a waste and a curse without inhabitant as it is today. It is because you burnt offerings and because you sinned against Yahuwah and did not obey the voice of Yahuwah or walk in his law and in his statutes and in his decrees that this disaster has befallen you, as is still evident today." Jeremiah said to all the people and all the women, "Hear the word of Yahuwah, all you Yahudim who are in the land of Egypt. Thus says Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, you and your wives have accomplished in deeds what you declared in words, saying, we are determined to perform the vows that we have made, to make offerings to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out libations to her. By all means, keep your vows and make your libations. Therefore, hear the word of Yahuwah, all you Yahudim who live in the land of Egypt. Swear by my great name, says Yahuwah, that my name shall no longer be pronounced on the lips of any of the people of Yehuda in all the land of Egypt, saying, as Yahuwah lives, Yahuwah God lives, My name shall no longer be pronounced. Who did it? God. I'm going to watch over them for harm and not for good. All the people of Yehuda who are in the land of Egypt, and we give men too much credit sometimes, like they're hiding the name or whatever. They're ignorant, or maybe they're doing it on purpose, but they can't do it without God okaying it, right? So the rulers of this world can't do anything without God okaying it. So, yeah, it's a waste of time to worry about stuff like that with certain people. I'm going to watch over them for harm and not for good. All the people of Yehuda who are in the land of Egypt shall perish by the sword and by famine until not one is left. And those who escape the sword shall return from the land of Egypt to the land of Yehuda. Few in number, and all the remnant of Yehuda who have come to the land of Egypt to settle shall know whose words will stand, mine or theirs. This shall be the sign to you, says Yahuwah, that I am going to punish you in this place, in order that you may know that my words of disaster against you will surely be carried out. Thus says Yahuwah, I'm going to give Pharaoh Hophra, king of Egypt, into the hands of his enemies, those who seek his life, just as I gave King Zedekiah of Yehuda into the hand of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, his enemy who sought his life. Wow. So Yah put the ruler in the hand of somebody to kill him. Chew on that, pro-Trumpers. That was fake, by the way. Jeremiah 45, the word that the prophet Jeremiah spoke to Baruch, son of Neriah, when he wrote these words in a scroll at the dictation of Jeremiah in the 4th year of King Jehoiakim, son of Josiah of Yehuda. Thus says Yahuwah, the Elohim of Israel, to you, O Baruch. You said to me, woe is me. Yahuwah has added sorrow to my pain. I am weary with my groaning, and I find no rest. Thus you shall say to him, thus says Yahuwah, I am going to break down what I have built and pluck up what I have planted, that is the whole land. And you, do you seek great things for yourself? Do you not seek them? For I am going to bring disaster upon all flesh, says Yahuwah, but I will give you your life as a prize of war in every place to which you may go. Interesting. We got a little more. Not much. Oh, man. Where's Jeremiah at? All right, Jeremiah 46. The word of Yahuwah that came to the prophet Jeremiah concerning the nations. Okay, so that's plural. That's interesting. He was talking to Judah before, right? Yeah, Judah and Egypt and Babylon. So concerning the nations, concerning Egypt, about the army of Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, which was by the river Euphrates at Carchemish, and which King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon defeated in the 4th year of King Jehoiakim, son of Josiah of Yehuda. Prepare buckler and shield and advance for battle. Harness the horses, mount the steeds, take your stations with helmets on. Whet the lances, put on coats of mail. Why do I see them terrified? They have fallen back. Their warriors are beaten down, and they fled in haste. They do not look back. Terror is all around, says Yahuwah. The swift cannot flee away, nor can the warrior escape. In the north, by the river Euphrates, they have stumbled and fallen. Who is this rising like the Nile, like rivers whose waters surge? Egypt rises like the Nile, like rivers whose waters surge. It said, let me rise, let me cover the earth, let me destroy cities and their inhabitants. Advance, O horses, and dash madly, O chariots. Let the warriors go forth, Cush and Put, who carry the shield, the Ludim, who draw the bow. That day is the day of Yahuwah, Elohim of hosts, a day of retribution to gain vindication from his foes. From his foes. The sword shall devour and be sated, and drink its fill of their blood. For Yahuwah, Elohim of hosts, holds a sacrifice in the land of the north by the river Euphrates. Go up to Gilead and take balm, old virgin daughter of Egypt. In vain you have used many medicines. There is no healing for you, O virgin daughter of Egypt. In vain you have used many medicines. So the nations have heard of your shame, and the earth is full of your shout or cry. For warrior has stumbled against warrior, both have fallen together. The word that Yahuwah spoke to the prophet Jeremiah about the coming of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon to attack the land of Egypt. Declare in Egypt and proclaim in Migdol, proclaim in Memphis and Tahpanhes. Say, take your stations and be ready, for the sword shall devour those around you. Why has Apis fled? Why did your bull not stand? Because Yahuwah thrust him down. Your multitude stumbled and fell. And one said to another, come and let us go back to our own people and to the land of our birth. Because of the destroying sword, give Pharaoh king of Egypt the name, braggart who missed his chance. As I live, says the king, whose name is Yahuwah of hosts, one is coming, like Tabor among the mountains, and like Carmel by the sea. Pack your bags for exile, sheltered daughter of Egypt, for Memphis shall become a waste, a ruin without inhabitant. A beautiful heifer is Egypt, a gadfly from the north lights upon her. Even her mercenaries in her midst are like fatted calves. They too have turned and fled together. They did not stand, for the day of their calamity has come upon them, the time of their punishment. She makes a sound like a snake gliding away, for her enemies march in force and come against her with axes like those who fell trees. They shall cut down her forest, says Yahuwah. Though it is impenetrable, because they are more numerous than locusts, they are without number. Daughter Egypt shall be put to shame. She shall be handed over to the people from the north. That's Babylon. The Babylon is not the far north, it's just north of Egypt. Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, said, see, I am bringing punishment upon Ammon of Thebes and Pharaoh and Egypt. 27. And her gods and her kings upon Pharaoh and those who trust in him. I will hand them over to those who seek their life, to King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon and his servants. Afterward, Egypt shall be inhabited as in the days of old, says Yahuwah. 27. But don't you be afraid, Yaakov, my servant. Don't be dismayed, Yisrael. For behold, I will save you from afar, and your offspring from the land of their captivity. Yaakov will return and will be quiet and at an ease. No one will make him afraid. So this is the second Exodus, the regathering. So Israel and Jacob. Don't be afraid, O Yaakov, my servant, says Yahuwah, for I am with you. For I will make a full end of all the nations where I have driven you. But I will not make a full end of you, but I will correct you in measure and will in no way leave you unpunished. So he was talking about Judah. Now he's talking about Israel. So 28. They did a lot of corrections from the Greek there. 47. All right, we got a little bit. We got a few verses of 47. All right, Dead Sea Scrolls, Jeremiah 47. Yahuwah's word that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning the Philistines before Pharaoh struck Gaza. Yahuwah says, behold, waters rise up out of the north and will become an overflowing stream and will overflow the land and all that is therein, the city and those who dwell therein. The men will cry and all the inhabitants of the land will wail at the noise of the stamping of the hooves of his strong ones, at the rushing of his chariots, at the rumbling of his wheels. The fathers don't look back to their children for feebleness of hands, because of the day that comes to destroy all the Philistines. And I will cut off from Tyre and Sidon every helper who remains, for Yahuwah will destroy the Philistines, the remnant of the Isle of Caphtor. Baldness has come on Gaza. Ashkelon is brought to nothing, the remnant of their valley. How long will you cut yourself? You sword of Yahuwah, how long will it be before you are quiet? Put yourself back into your scabbard, rest and be still. That's interesting. The whole earth was at rest, Revelation. How can you be quiet, since Yahuwah has given you command against Ashkelon and against the seashore? There has he appointed it. So 47, yeah, 8. All right, good. Skip over that one. 48. That's pretty long. Pretty long. And we might finish it up. So, verse 1. Thus says Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim, concerning Moab. Thus says Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yisrael. Alas, for Nebo, it is laid waste. Kiriathim is put to shame, it is taken. The fortress is put to shame and broken down. The praise of Moab is no more. And Heshbon, they have devised evil against her. Come, let's cut her off from being a nation. You also, madmen, will be brought to silence. The sword will pursue you. the sound of a cry from Horonaim, desolation and great destruction. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have caused a cry to be heard. 4, 5. For at the ascent of Luhith, they go up weeping bitterly. For at the descent of Horonaim, they have heard the distressing cry of anguish. Flee, save yourselves. Be like a wild ass in the desert. Interesting. Flee. For because you have trusted in your works and in your treasures, you also will be taken. Chemosh will go out into captivity, his priests and his princes together. Dang, 25. Yep. Big section missing. That sucks. 8. The destroyer shall come upon every town, and no town shall escape. The valley shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed, as Yahuwah has spoken. Set aside salt for Moab, for she will surely fall. Her town shall become a desolation, with no inhabitant in them. Accursed is the one who is slack in doing the work of Yahuwah. Accursed is the one who keeps back the sword from bloodshed. Moab has been at ease from his youth, settled like wine on its dregs. He has not been empty from vessel to vessel, nor has he gone into exile. Therefore his flavor has remained, and his aroma is unspoiled. Therefore the time is surely coming, says Yahuwah, when I will send to him decanters to decant him, and empty his vessels and break his jars in pieces. Then Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, as the house of Yisrael was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. So that's interesting that he refers to us as some vessels for destruction and some for life. Could this be people? So here, how can you say we are heroes and mighty warriors? Moab is destroyed and his towns have gone up, and the choicest of his young men have gone down to slaughter, says the king, whose name is Yahuwah of hosts. So interesting, the king, Yahuwah of hosts. The calamity of Moab is near at hand, and his doom approaches swiftly. Mourn over him, all you his neighbors, and all who know his name. Say how the mighty scepter is broken, the glorious staff. Interesting. Calamity of Moab. That is interesting. How does that fit in? Huh. Come down from glory and sit on the parched ground, enthroned daughter of Daban. For the destroyer of Moab has come up against you. He has destroyed your strongholds. Stand by the road and watch. You inhabitant of Aurora, ask the man flee and the woman escaping. Say what has happened. Moab is put to shame for it is broken down. Wail and cry, or wail and shout. Tell it by the Arnon that Moab is laid waste. Judgment has come upon the tableland, upon Halon and Yazah and Maphath and Dibon and Nebo and Beth Diblathaim and Kiriathim and Beth Gamul and Beth Meon and Kiriath and Bozrah and all the towns of the land of Moab, far and near. The horn of Moab is cut off. His arm is broken, says Yahuwah. There you go. Same thing. The horn of Moab is cut off. His arm is broken, says Yahuwah. Make him drunken, for he magnified himself against Yahuwah. Moab will wallow in his vomit, and he will be in derision. For wasn't Israel a derision to you? Was he found among your thieves? For as often as you speak of him, you shake your head. You inhabitants of Moab, leave your cities and dwell in the rock. Be like the dove that makes her nest over the mouth of the abyss. Hear therefore the pride of Moab. He is very proud in his vanity, and there is none like him. So we have heard is not in there. Loftiness is not in there. His pride is not in there. Verse 29. Nope, wrong. Nope, wrong. Nope, wrong. Interesting. 48, 29. Septuagint is for chapter 31. It's all over the place. So 29. See if it's in here. Yep, Septuagint is corrupted as well. Heart's been lifted up. Say loftiness, no. Pride, no. Nope. And his heart has been lifted up. Interesting. There's none like him. No. Oh, hold on. Arrogance, and the arrogance of his heart lifted up. Yeah, so that's in there. Yep. So I know his wrath, says Yahuwah, that it is nothing. His boastings have done nothing. Therefore I will wail for Moab. Yes, I'll cry for all Moab. They will mourn for the men of Kir Hareset, with more than the weeping of Yezer. I will weep for you, vine of Sibmah. Your branches passed over the sea. They reached even to the sea of Yezer. The destroyer has fallen on your summer fruits and on your vintage. Gladness and joy is taken away from the fruitful field and from the land of Moab. I have caused wine to cease from the wine presses. None will tread with shouting. The shouting will be no shouting. From the cry of Heshbon even to Aliyah, even to Yahaz have they uttered their voice. From Zoar even to Horonaim, to Egloth, Shelishiyah. For the waters of Nimrim will also become desolate. Moreover, I will cause to cease in Moab, says Yahuwah, him who offers in the high place, him who burns incense to his gods. Therefore my heart sounds for Moab like pipes, and my heart sounds like pipes for the men of Kir Heres. Therefore the abundance that he has gotten has perished, for every head is bald, and every beard clipped. There are cuttings on all the hands, and sackcloth on the waist, and all the housetops of Moab, and in its streets there is lamentation everywhere, for I have broken Moab like a vessel in which no one delights. So the city is referred to as a vessel. Says Yahuwah, how it is broken down, how they wail, how Moab has turned the back with shame. So will Moab become a derision and a terror to all who are around him. Verse 40. For thus says Yahuwah, look, he shall swoop down like an eagle and spread his wings against Moab. Who does that? Rome. Rome's like an eagle. Kirioth is taken, and the strongholds are seized. The heart of the mighty men of Moab at that day will be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. Moab will be destroyed from being a people, because he has magnified himself against Yahuwah. Terror, the pit, and the snare are on you, inhabitant of Moab, says Yahuwah. He who flees from the terror will fall into the pit. He who gets up out of the pit will be taken in the snare. For I will bring on him, even on Moab, the year of their visitation, says Yahuwah. Those who fled stand without strength under the shadow of Heshbon, for a fire has gone out of Heshbon, and a flame from the city of Sihon, and has devoured the corner of Moab and the crown of the head of the tumultuous ones. Whew. So middle of Sion is not there. City of Sion is there. Two different Hebrew words. So I think like Kerith would be middle and Air would be city. So 45. Crown of the head of the tumultuous ones. What do you, O Moab? The people of Chemosh have perished, for your sons have been taken captive and your daughters into captivity. Yet I'll restore the fortunes of Moab in the latter days, says Yahuwah. Thus far is the judgment on Moab. Lots of different manuscripts: Syriac, Targum, Hebrew, Greek, Masoretic. Yeah. 49. I don't think I'm going to do that one. That's pretty long. Yeah, so we got 49, 50, pretty long too. And no way we're finishing today. 51. 52. Yeah. So we're going to stick to 48. So we got a lot of chapters in. Probably because I didn't have a whole lot to add to it. So that's good sometimes. Just straight reading. Don't have to add a lot to it. I did want to pull this up too. So it's good to test what other people are saying too. I like to watch some other people's stuff, get their take on things. So Nick did a video here. So just look up Nick Vanderland on YouTube. And I don't agree with everything he says, but you know, you can tell he studies and he cares about Yah, and he's trying to share what he's learning. So he's got the Jubilee year pegged to 2026. I think it's interesting, a lot of the resources he uses to pull it together, some of the ancient stuff they found. I don't necessarily think it's 2026, which I think there's other things to know that are more important. But at the same time, it's good to test, everything, So you can glean stuff from him, just like you can glean stuff from me, or I can glean stuff from you. Only arrogant, prideful people wouldn't learn from anybody. So we're supposed to be humble and test it. So I think he's a little bit off. I think I figured in like 8 years. So we got till the Jubilee. We got, what is that? 2033. I don't know. Just a guess. So I go by the Exodus date, and I'll share my little let's see, Exodus date of the Exodus. If you can nail down the date of the Exodus, so it says 13th century. The Exodus. This is what I go to, and every time I forget what most mainstream scholars do not accept the biblical Exodus account as history. Yeah. For a number of reasons. No, for one reason. They're idiots. Yeah. Forgive me, but that's if I need forgiven. But that's the truth. It's ignorance. It's let's just ignore all the archaeology and all that stuff and biblical evidence, and we're just gonna say it didn't happen. Yeah. So where is the date? Torah narrative. They got all kind of scholarly crap you got to dig through. Judaism. Nope. Where's it at? According to conventional Egyptian chronology, 1446 BCE. Okay, so just take a guess at it. So Book of Jubilee says 2450 to the Exodus, till they entered the land, right? And they entered the land on the Jubilee year. Jubilees are 49 years. Don't mess up Torah. It's 49. It's not 50. The celebration is on the 50, the beginning of the next year. So 50 Jubilees, they entered the land on a Jubilee year, right? And the people that don't accept remove books or don't study them or anything, they'll go to the Torah and look at Jubilees, 50 years. Come on, people, study. So 2450. I'm not making fun of you. It's just, we got to spur each other on. And I would appreciate it if somebody did it to me, if I need it. 2450 plus 1446. 3896. All right. Plus 2025. That's how many years we got. Equals 5921. And you've got 8 more years till the Jubilee. Right? And then you've got, it's weird because you think that 6,000 would land on Jubilee, but it don't. But yeah, 5921. That's what I usually get. That's how I do it. So 46, 49. Just want to do that. So 29. Okay. But yeah, that's what I got. I got like the year 5921. So we're pretty close. I could be wrong. Just say if the Exodus date is more or less, if this is not correct, then we could be like 20 years out from 6,000, So there's a lot of factors that go on into it. I think some archaeologists or whatever nail it down closer. I definitely don't think it was that early. 1550, that's another 100 years. We'd already be in the 6,000th year. That doesn't work. So, all right. Well, praise y'all. And, you just watched Nick's video, Rachel? Yeah, I'm about halfway through it. It's pretty long. So, but praise y'all. I hope this was helpful and a blessing to you. Happy Sabbath. Whoever's keeping the Sabbath, have a good rest of the Sabbath. If you're not keeping Sabbath, it's a blessing. Dedicating a day to Yah. Sunday church is not where it's at. I'm just going to tell you. I progress more in my walk, and you have to know how to walk to actually walk. People say knowledge. Like the ancient people that walked correctly had all the knowledge because they knew how to walk correctly. Duh. So leaving the church when I was 38, and I learned more in the past 5 years than I did in 38 years in the church. So keep Sabbath. Don't do Sunday. Don't do Christmas. Don't do Easter. Start eating clean. Don't eat unclean. Don't eat with the blood. Acts chapter 15. If the law is done away with, that's done away with. Why'd they mention it in Acts chapter 15? And why is Paul over here reasoning on the Sabbath? What Sunday pastor goes to a Seventh-day Adventist church and reasons with them on the Sabbath? They don't. At least not that I know of. Acts chapter 17:2, and Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the scriptures. So Paul is keeping Sabbath. I guarantee he's not doing Christmas. He's not doing Easter. He's not doing Sunday. He's keeping Sabbath. They met on the first day of the week. Does not mean they were keeping it holy, not worshiping Rome, right? So something to think about. Paul's keeping Sabbath. And all right. Y'all have a good one. Hope to see you next time.